Hey everybody! Thank you so much for hanging in there. We had some technological difficulties, if you will. Chat, let me know if you guys can hear me. I think I can see you all in here. I see Sky Blue Jenny. What's up? She's a master calligrapher here in Orange County. She's helped me actually review some of my fonts and gave me feedback on Beverly Drive specifically. It was awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, Ethan Silva, what's up? I see everybody in the chat. It's working. You all. OBS, Streamlabs, I have a bone to pick. I could not get them working, so I downloaded this whole new software called, what's it called? Ecamm Live. Shout out to Joel Buchelman. I texted him frantically. I was yelling, cursing. The phone got thrown over there. It was drama. It was mayhem. But we're here. We're here together, and I'm so excited. Okay, so today I was thinking, we're actually starting this thing where we're going to start making some paint by numbers style coloring books. I thought it'd be a really fun design gift for the holidays, even if you're not a designer, even if you're just an adult who loves coloring. I think it would be really, really fun. So I was going to do that, but then I was like, that's kind of boring, just locking a photo and live tracing over it. So I think instead we are going to do some lettering. So everybody, thank you so much for coming. We've got Lamont. We've got Jen Hood's in the chat. Jen, thank you so much for helping me out. Hans Benowitz, what's up? Scott Snyder, so many friendly faces. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the lettering that we're working on today, I sketched it out a little bit. That's always how I start everything. Here's my trusty sketchbook. Adobe actually gave me this one. I actually miss conferences because I now have to buy all my own sketchbooks. Remember when you used to just get free dot grids raining from the heavens at every conference? I miss that. And of course the people. But here's kind of what I sketched out the other day. So if you can see, this is kind of my iteration process. It's simple, a little bit less simple. I wanted to do something with chrome. I want to do chrome inspired. And then we've got down here is kind of where I landed. I want to do this kind of chrome inspired we. And then I want to have me below it kind of broken. So it's not me, it's we, y'all. We're in this together. Initially, I wanted to do the lyrics from I'll Be There, whether you like the Mariah Carey version or the Jackson 5 original. It's an amazing song, but it's a bit long. It was togetherness is all I'm after. It's a bit wordy. So I was like, I can't do that much chrome. So we're doing we, not me, and I think it's going to be really fun. Okay, so let me switch over now. I'm going to switch over to share my screen with you all. And here we go. Okay, so here's I'm just going to move this out of the way. So here's my artboard. Here's some of the inspiration that I am using. If you guys have seen my Beverly Drive font, the one that Jenny so kindly helped me review, gave me some tweaks on, I made some really awesome chrome type out of that font because it was inspired by vintage car badges. So I kind of want to do something in this vein. I love the look of chrome type, but I think I'm going to do it a little bit flatter, kind of like Central Type did on this amazing Disco Dollies lettering. And then I think I'm also going to add in some grit, and I want to add this blur effect. This is something that Nicholas Law did. I love his work. And then this one I couldn't find a credit for. I just found it on Pinterest. But this is kind of the inspiration of what I'm going for. It's pretty awesome. And then down for the me part, that, the me part of the sketch where it's cracked and kind of elevating up out of the ground. This is kind of my inspiration for some of that, some 3D type going on mixed with this thing that Jen did, these crumbling pillars. I also found this amazing, I couldn't find a credit on it, but this amazing page from what I'm assuming is an old design book. And it's got some 3D lettering. And this neat one, specifically in this tone one, I think is a good inspiration for how the lettering could kind of come up out of the ground. The hardest part is going to be figuring out where it breaks, how to show that in an interesting way so that it looks like me is crossed out and it's all about we. So that's what we're going for. And then I love over here too, this no in the bottom left of this one. It's kind of a good guide for how I can figure out my lighting for my chrome, because I have a feeling I'm going to have a tough time on that. So that'll be exciting. So let's start out with, I'm going to start by I'm going to make a copy of this sketch that I had because it's pretty high res, like it's pretty close to what I want to do. And I'm just going to Command 7 to clipping mask that, and I'm going to zoom it way in. And I'm just going to lock that layer by going Command 2, or you could go Object Lock Layer. And this is going to be my base. And I like to have something off my artboard, and then I'm going to just use my pen tool, and I'm going to start live tracing, and then I'm going to drag it over to the right-hand side, like as I'm done. So I'm just going to go in here, and I think I might start with the inner lettering, because I've got this like outer edge out here. So I'm going to start with this inner lettering like this. And actually, I think I'm going to go hard edges, because I can always kind of like miter those later. And I'm just using my pen tool, and I'm going to fill that in with black. And I'm just going to keep making my points here and get kind of my base going. And I'm going to go Command R and pull out my rulers, and I'm going to make sure that things are lining up pretty well, so I don't have to like go back and do too much adjusting after the fact. And I could even probably just copy that first one I made, but we don't want it to be perfect. Perfect is boring. Okay, so we're doing this. And I really love working with a high-res sketch, because if you try to just kind of wing it straight in Illustrator, I just find it's like so time consuming. It's so much harder when you have like a pretty clean sketch. It's just so much easier to have an idea of where you're going. So that's myself for doing those thumbnail sketches. When I was in art school, before I thought I was going to be a designer, my art teacher was like, "These are the best thumbnail sketches I've ever seen." He was a little bit creepy, but I think he really did mean it. He was also really nice. Like, he encouraged me in a way that I really needed at the time. I was like 5 years into community college and just wondering, what am I doing with my life? Okay, so now I've got my like basic outline shape, and I'm just going to drag that over here so that I kind of have an idea of where I'm going. And that's looking pretty good. I feel like it looks pretty even. This negative space here, sort of like counter thing, is a little bit different, but I can kind of adjust that later, I think. I'm just going to kind of keep going, I think. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so in fact, I think I'll just option drag this one over my clean one. Paste that on top. And now I'm going to use the offset path tool. I'm going to go Object, Path, Offset Path, and I'm going to make my outer bevel, I guess we're going to call it. And I think I'm going to use miter, but we could use bevel, which is kind of cool. And I'm not sure. I think I'm going to start with miter, and we can always change it down the line. So let's start there and see how we feel. So, and then what I do is I usually just use that guide that initial W that I pulled over. I have my smart guides turned on so that as I'm dragging things over, I can just drag right in place, and my smart guides know where to go. And I'm able to work on top of the sketch, but also see, like, is this even working over here on my clean artboard? Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is add in some bevel kind of corners. So I'm going to go there. And actually, I think I might make these fully enclosed objects so that I can fill them differently depending on where I want my light source to be. So I'm going to do that. And oh, we got Paul Hutchison in the type. What's up, Paul? And then for this, I don't want to have to redraw this whole thing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift select both of these things. I'm going to go copy, paste in front. I'm going to use my Pathfinder shape tools, and I'm going to just remove remove the top one, move that to the top from the background, and that will give me my outline. See? And I think I'm going to now use the Pathfinder to get some of these like swoopy parts. We'll just call them swoopy parts. And so I'm going to use my pen tool now, and I'm just going to go back here. I'm going to make a big wide berth. Go like this. I'm going to make sure I copy this little outline I just made because I'll need it again. So I'm going to go copy, paste in front, and I'm going to use my Pathfinder tool again to just get that one piece that I wanted. And then I'm just going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go here, make that bevel. I only want it to go to here, the bottom portion of my W bevel. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to select that big outline that I just made. I'm going to Pathfinder that one out, and you can see how that works. Okay, so that's looking good. And I'm just going to keep doing that. My copy still has that original one that I copied, so I'm just going to keep going with that, keep pasting in front, and keep making these little edges on this. Okay, and then the rest of this is pretty much, oh no, I still have to do this one. So I'm just doing it on all the curves because it's going to save me a lot of heartache instead of me trying to trace over my own lines, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to go paste in front and do that. And the last one here. Okay, and then I'm going to Pathfinder that one out. Did I get the right one? Nope, got the wrong one. Okay. For this one, I need to do this one. Cool. Okay, so now I need to add the rest of these. Need one here. I need one here. And of course, right now I'm working with my trackpad instead of my mouse because I guess I hate myself. I have a mouse somewhere, but now I have this great new Mac computer with these C ports, these USB ports that don't connect to any other device that I have. It's been such a nightmare. I think it's part of why I couldn't get OBS software to work. It's like, what did I pay $3,000 for? I'm not sure. If you know, tell me. Okay, so here we go. So I think what I'm going to start doing is, and I might actually need, some more bevels here so that I can do some gradients, if that makes any sense. But for now, let's just see how this works. Let's see how this goes. Let's just start filling this with black. And I love using Adobe libraries. I use the libraries I have Hoodzpah branding colors. It's been the best thing I ever did in my life. And I basically just saved all the colors that we use in our Hoodzpah illustrations. And now I can call on them whenever I want. I've got this like off-white that I love using. So let's say my light source is coming from, let's say upper left. Let's say, we'll just put it there so we can remember. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little gradient action here, I think. Let's go. Or should I do like bubble gradient? Let's go black there. Also, this stuff kills me. Like how this previews this way when you're using a stroke outline. Why? Why must it do that? I'll probably end up like outlining those strokes or something to get that to work. Or I think you can go into stroke and just lessen the limit. Let's go down to 5. Let's go down to 3. Okay, there we go. 3 did it. 3 got rid of that little thing. So I think I'll just select all of it and go down to 3. Okay, limit 3. And I think I'm gonna do this as a 2-color print. And in fact, I think I'm gonna do it on black paper. So I usually like to figure out how do I want to print this if I decide to print it. And I usually like to start that way because if I start on white paper and I'm designing this as if I'm going to print it on white paper and then I print it on black paper, I have to rework everything. It's such a pain. So always think with the end in sight, I would say. Start with the end in sight. So let's just lessen that a bit so I can kind of see what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to go back to the black. I'm going to lock that. I'm going to drag all of this and I'm going to select my off-white as my outline color, I think. And let's do 1.5. That'll be nice. We'll do that. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Those dang miters are back, or those corners. This is making me crazy. Why? Why must you do that? So let's see if we can get that limit down even further over here in stroke. Back down to 3. Let's see if that fixes it. No, let's go down to 2. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, so if the sun is coming from the upper left, this is like physics and all sorts of stuff. And well, I'm not good at that kind of thing, but let's just start like this. I'm going to make one gradient, I think, or I think I might actually do some of these like rounded edges instead for like a more flat look. And I'll fill that with the black to kind of create a gradient of sorts. And I was thinking I could do, if I did this print, I was thinking it'd be fun to do a risograph because I've never done one of those. Like, why not? Why not join the party? So I'm thinking I'll do maybe like an off-white ink if they offer that. And then what about like a silver, you know? I mean, it's chrome. So I'm thinking that might look good. So let's just like create a silver for now and then just so we can kind of get an idea. Okay, so let's say we do this slightly dark, and I'm going to add this to my swatches so I'm not constantly looking for it. Add all these. Okay, so let's make this a silver fill. Okay, yeah, yes, this is good. And then, okay, I want another one of these like rounded line kind of things instead of a gradient. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my pen tool. I'm going to draw as close as I can. Sometimes smart guides work against you. I'm just going to draw something really close to what I think is following my little path. Going to remove that fill. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to round the ends of this, my cap here in my stroke panel. I'm going to round my cap. And I'm trying to make it match this black kind of roundy shade bubble that I've got going. So I'm just going to up this. And that kind of feels like it's matching that one up there, don't you think? That's kind of looking cool. Okay. And then let's say, okay, if the light's coming down from up here, let's say, I think it would actually, this would be light, and then like this down here would be shadow, right? So let's delete that. Let's turn this into the ecru. Ooh, but maybe when there's a shadow, like when there's a shine, it goes all the way to the edges. So I'm going to like up my weight. Yeah, like that. Maybe. We can always tweak it down the road. That's the good news. Yeah, I think that's looking cool. Okay, I'm loving this. Okay, so now I like that there's these little breaks too with this like silver in it. I think that's kind of cool. Because chrome does all kinds of crazy stuff. Like you can see full-on scenery. You can see your own reflection. Like I want it to feel like there's a lot going on in the background potentially. So I'm going to try to make a lot of little stops. So that it looks like there's some action. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. And just kind of tweak this. Okay. And let's make this black. Yeah. Okay. And maybe we cut this a little short so that when it starts dark again, I think that's how it would work. Okay. So then let's see, where else would there be a shine? Maybe there would be something here. To be honest, I'm just guessing. Maybe I'll double check it. I saved some inspiration of actual chrome badges so I could kind of see how it all works. So I'll probably look to that in a bit. And I'm going to send this to the back so that that white outline is always on top. Same here. I think that's good. And in fact, I might separate my fills from my outlines just so it looks really clean. Okay, so that's starting to look good. I'm going to keep going over here with my, like I want to do this inline thing, I think. So I'm going to keep going here with this. Okay. When I say we, I mean Jen always, because I'm a twin and, well, we do everything together like creepy twins do. But when we first got our first design job, it was at this like crappy coupon clipper. Many of you have heard the stories if you're friends with me, and I'm sorry, but there's just so many funny stories. I mean, I think anyone who gets their dream job right out the gate, they're missing out on all those really funny stories that you get to tell about everything that went wrong. I mean, everybody loves a relatable story like that. It's like, what was that movie with Tom Hanks where everything went to hell trying to renovate that house? It's like that. It's so relatable. We've all been there. So this first design job we had, it was a crappy coupon clipper magazine, and literally none of the clients that we had their own design files in vector format. We had to recreate, I can't tell you how many logos from raster images. It was crazy. And so now I have to say I'm fairly good at using the pen tool. I'm pretty proud of myself. Okay, so you can see that right now I'm realizing, oh shoot, my widths are kind of off, and I want it to be a little bit more consistent, I think. So I made this little guide by pulling it down from my rulers, and I think I'm just going to adjust by kind of, just bring that down a bit so it feels like it matches more. Okay, and then maybe this also now needs to go in a bit, and it's kind of throwing off my little bevel out here. I put the horse before the carriage, or however they say it. You know what, maybe we'll do, here's what we'll do, because I don't like how that's, messing with that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some anchor points here by just going pen tool, select that, and that way it keeps the integrity of those lines. This is kind of a cheat, and I'm going to do the same thing below it. And that way when I move that above, I think it should keep it a bit better. Okay, and then I'm just doing shift arrow left, shift arrow right, so that I always know exactly how to get back to start. Okay, now let's try this. Let's see if we can do this now. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, now I'm just going to select these two here, and there we go. That's better. That's a better cheat since I didn't do that right the first time. Cool. Okay, looking good. And I do think this still needs to come in a bit, so I'm probably going to have to adjust that. Let's bring that in all together. Oh, that's going to mess that up though. You know what? I think it's good enough. And sometimes that's what you have to say. It looks good enough. And it does. Okay. So, oh, you know what? I'm going to try this like neat little new thing, I think. Well, am I? Let's just keep going. Sometimes you just have to keep going and just see how it all turns out together. Okay, so I've got this inline that I was working with. I'm going to continue on with this. Just kind of adjust some of these anchor points that I've drawn. And I'm going to change the cap. I don't want that rounded cap anymore. I just want a regular cap. And I'm just going to pull that over and see how it looks. Oh, didn't get both of them. And I'm just going to option drag, and I'm just going to eyeball. Okay, and I'm going to turn that to my off-white accrue. And I'm going to move that down a bit, I think. And if you guys have any questions about what I'm doing, let me know. I'm going to ask B if she'll come back in if she wants to run the chat. And then that way I can answer questions, because it's really hard to read the chat sometimes while you're doing this. Okay, so I'm going to change my stroke weight to probably about, let's see, let's go down, maybe I will just keep it all 1.5, just keep it super consistent. It does look a little bit light, but I think once I get all of my little shiny things in there, it'll be better. So let's just do it and see how it goes, okay? And then my end goal is to do some crazy stuff in Photoshop. I never use Photoshop. It's very uncomfortable for me. It's probably how most of you feel about InDesign. It's unfamiliar to me. But I would like to get better at using like texture and doing blurs and stuff like that. And I got some of the True Grit texture supply. Ooh, Bee's in the house. What's up, girl? She'll be on the chat just in case you have any questions. She'll like help me field some of those questions. But I got some True Grit texture supply brushes, and I love them. And I guess they're not brushes, they're action packs and brushes. And the Atomica one is like so friggin' awesome. It makes your work look super vintage, and it's pretty cool. All right, so this looks good. And actually I think what I'm going to do is delete that point, and I'm instead going to move this anchor point so that that line can be a straight diagonal. So it's really all just like, I use my direct select A tool and I just adjust the handles, and I just keep kind of tweaking it. The pen tool can be so difficult. It's like the hardest thing to master, which is why I'm so thankful for that crappy coupon clipper job, because I recreated so many logos, and just live tracing over things was such good practice. Not live tracing, that was the cheat way. Using your pen tool and just like retracing somebody's logo and trying to get it exact from the original was such good practice. So, find a photo and just try to, recreate an outline of the pieces. You could even make your own paint by numbers, but it's really good practice to get really good at the pen tool. Okay, cool. So this is looking pretty cool. There's like a definite feel of bevel, of 3D. I'm digging it. So I think I'm going to add a bevel here too, I think. Yeah, I am. I absolutely am. And I think this all needs to move, but I'm concerned that it's too late because, you know what I'll do? I'll move this anchor point, kind of adjust that a bit. And I think it'll look cool if it's a bit wonky. I think I'm okay with that. And I'm saying that now because I have to be okay with that. So I want to get rid of this anchor point, but I want Adobe to keep the integrity of this curve. So I'm going to use this cool little plugin. It's called Astute Graphics, and the specific one that I'm going to use is called, is it Inkscribe? This is going to be, or is it, is it this? No, Dynamic Vector Fill, what is it? I think it's PassScribe. Okay, so I've got the anchor point that I want to delete, and I go into PassScribe with it selected, and I'm going to go Smart Remove Point. Voila, that's it. That's one, PassScribe. It deleted my anchor point, but it kept the integrity of my path, which is really cool. So I've been using that a lot recently, even though you can't tell because I didn't even know what it was called. Okay, we've got our first question in the chat. What's up, B? Where did you get your brushes from? My brushes? So the brushes that I use, I've got a few from Retro Supply Co., which is Dustin Lee, and then I've got a few from True Grit Texture Supply. And I really like both of those. Also, Adobe has some incredible free ones, which why not take advantage if they're free, and they're from Kyle T. Webster, who's awesome. So I would definitely recommend just downloading those and messing around. They've got like some Keith Haring. Now all of a sudden I'm having a moment where I don't remember if his name is Keith Haring or Keith Harrington. I think it's Haring. Okay, let's just go with that. Okay, so got a bevel going, and I'm gonna start, I think I'm gonna start doing some shapes within this bevel, I think. And the tough part is like, now that I have all these lines, see all these lines? I need to do some fills, but I think I'm going to do it. I wonder if, here's what we're going to do. Oh no, we're going to go back, Command Z, and I think I'm just going to lock that one for now. It's going to be my guide because I need it to know how to create these individual little sections so that I can color each thing a different color. I think that would be black. That would be the darkest point if the sun was up at the top, I believe. This top section would probably be a gradient fill, maybe this silver to like white. And then this section, this little triangle here in the left, I'm thinking that would be another gradient fill the opposite way with white. So let's see. Yeah, something like that. And I think I'm going to do the texture effect for the gradient I think I'm going to do that in Photoshop with those True Grit brushes, but let's just get kind of a small gradient going in here, and just so we can kind of see what we're working with. Okay, so we've got this area selected. I'm going to go pull my color in there. Still got white in there, so I'm just going to drag that off, and I'm going to pull my off-white in here. Okay, so yeah, well, let's do that there, and then I'm going to just eyedropper that gradient again, but I'm going to set the fill like, other way, like that, I think. Yeah, woohoo, baby. That looks cool. That looks really cool. Okay, I wonder some things right now, but I'm just going to keep going. And I think that's really, honestly, the best thing you can do. It's really easy when you're like 20 minutes into a design to be like, this sucks. I'm going to trash it, but just keep going. That's my theory. Just keep going. I think that probably was better the way that it was. I'm just going to go back. And Command Z is your friend. Cool. I think that's good. So PathScribe is that's the tool that I just used. It's from Astute Graphics, which Dave Clayton gave me some access to a while ago, and I really do love a lot of the tools. And it just allows you to delete an anchor point, but maintain the curve of the path. So you can, you know how usually when you delete an anchor point, it will get all wonky and wobbly and crazy. It prevents that from happening. Like, for example, if I wanted to delete, let's find a good anchor point that would be weird. Like if I deleted this anchor point right now, just through Illustrator, see how it messes up that line? If I do it with PathScribe, it keeps the integrity as well it can in that line, which is pretty cool. That's why I like to make a lot of my vector work in actually in Glyphs app. That's what I make my fonts in as well. It's just, they have a lot more control settings so that, you know, you can delete points and it's just a little bit easier. Okay, so now I have so many pieces going on here. I'm just going to start locking some stuff so that I can like see what's underneath. And I basically want to make a chunk here. And so I'm going to copy this. I'm going to delete that end piece. Oop. I'm going to move it to the front so that it's on the very, very top. Oh, that's connected. Uh-oh. I'm going to cut that. Delete. Oh, need that. Okay, so I'm going to, yeah, that's one piece now. I'm just going to follow my path. I'm sure there's like a plugin that would do this automatically for me, but I guess I like to do it the hard way. That, and then I'm just going to go all the way around. Ooh, but I don't want to. And back to here. Oh, is this gonna work? Hopefully. Okay. Let's see here. Lock that. See, now I have so many pieces I don't even know where I am. Okay, we're going to, yes. Okay, that's what I wanted. Okay, but I don't need, oop. Also, I'm gonna Command Save right now. And I'm just going to delete some of this so that I just have this one piece. I'm gonna move that up front. Yeah, think that's good. And I'm going to use this again. Oh, I lost this little piece. Oh, life is hard, you all. There's so many lines. There's so many things going on. I don't need that connected, so I'm just going to get rid of that. And I'm going to start this over. Okay. Sometimes I just go like close but not quite on, and then I just move it with my path tool. And the smart guides tell me exactly where I was, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I'm going to get my gradient back there. And then I think I'm just going to, select this one, copy and paste in front. I go continue drawing along this path to separate out just the bottom one. Hopefully I can get it, just that one. If I can reach the, okay. And I'm going to copy this background piece and paste in front because I still want, and ooh, I think I'm going to do, instead of that, I'm going to use the Pathfinder one that separates it all into like a bunch of different pieces, this divide one. So it'll separate all of them out. Like if you click in, you'll see like, okay, that's something I don't need, but I do need both of these. Aha. Yes, that's what I want. Okay, so now I'm going to put those in front and I'm just going to color this one, I think black, send it to the back. And this one I think is okay like that because I'm going to maybe just separate this one out too, the way that we just did. Uh-oh. Okay. And I'm going to use that divide again. Double click in to like get rid of the stuff I don't need and just get the pieces that I do. Okay, there we go. Wow, that felt like a really hard way to do that. Oh dear. Okay, so I think this would be, the gradient on this one would be, let's see, more like this. Or yes, but like maybe just up here. Yes. Okay. Oh, and then maybe, okay, then we're gonna like also option drag in my gradient panel here. I'm option dragging out. I want another gray down here. So what I'm gonna do is just redraw now my little section, and I'm just going to, over here on my gradient slider in my panel, I'm going to adjust over here. So I'm gonna go like that. I'm gonna move this farther out to the edge. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe that goes a little bit back. Okay, yeah, that's looking good. Okay, B, we had another question. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, let me go copy front. Just going to cut that. Do we ever use Skillshare? So somebody was asking about if we use, I'm going to just go Command Z real quick. Is that still? Okay, somebody was asking if we use Skillshare. I used to use Skillshare a lot, yeah. I recently got rid of my subscription just because I didn't feel like there was anything specifically that, I just wasn't using it, I guess I should say. And, but I think there's a lot of good stuff on there. I mean, Draplin has a course on there. There's a lot of really specific courses on there. Like if you want to learn how to do like a kick-ass business card, you know, it feels like it's for like very specific things. But I really wish I knew more people that had courses on there. It's a really good question. Why don't you use the shape builder tool in Illustrator to fill in the shape? So shape builder, okay, I've not used that much, but I remember when I used to use Live Paint, like it would do weird things. And to be honest, ooh, where's shape builder? Is this it? No, that's a plastic brush. Wait, tell me where it is on the thing and I'll try it. We'll try it in real time. We'll try to figure it out on the fly. But I've honestly never used it. I've just always done Pathfinder and stuff like that. Is this it? Shape builder? How do I use it? Like, what do I do? Tell me how and I'll try it. Okay, so like maybe I select all these things. Maybe. Let's try it. Let's select all this stuff. Shift N. Okay. Oh, wait. Shift. Oop. Shift M. Okay, let's try. I've got all this stuff selected. Do I have to select all of it at once? Let's try. Okay. Not that though. I think I'm just gonna not use shape builder. Oh, it worked, you guys. Okay, chat just saved me potentially years off my life. Oh, but then I have to, I'll have to do that the hard way because I've just already started that. Okay, so I think that would be black. I think this, how do you though, like I want this to be further separated out. How do I do that? Select the shape builder tool, then click the segments to create new shapes or scribble between to combine them. Select the shapes you want and click Alt and delete the shapes. Hold Option, press Shape builder. Okay, well, I don't really know how to use it right now, guys. I'm so sorry. I would love to figure that out. That looks so much easier than what I was doing. Did it kind of work? Maybe? You all, I like to do it the hard way. I don't know. You have to select all the shapes involved, including the vertical lines. And you have to make sure all your anchor points are touching the path. Okay, let's try it. Let's option drag one down here, and let's try it y'all's way. Okay, I've got everything selected. Shape. That's shaper. We want shape builder. Ooh, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Oh no, this is going to be the worst live stream known to man. Cancel. Okay, let's see, but it's doing things that are weird that I don't like. But let's try it. Did it work? I think it did. Cool. Okay, well, I think it's working. That was already there. Okay, let's try this. So I think it worked. Let's keep filling in. This one probably didn't work because it's okay though. I can just do this one the old school way because it's a straight line. So let's go straight line here. Basically, it's a straight line. Okay, so let's do that. Oh, if anyone needs to know of a new show to watch, like if you ran out of TV, I've been watching this show called Brassic. If you like dirty Northern England hooligans and the shenanigans they get into. You will like this show, I think. Okay, let's try this. I think this will work. For these two that didn't quite get picked up. Oop. What's that? Some people are saying it is a pain to use it though. Yeah, I don't know about that shape builder. I think I'd rather just do it the hard way, to be honest. Wait, is this? Doesn't make sense. Okay, so to be honest, this is like just being such a, okay, there it is. Okay. And then I don't need that. Okay, there's that. I think this is working, please. Okay, and then I think what I'm gonna do is just Command Shift G to like ungroup everything and to make sure, do that a couple times. Let's see if that works. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Let's start filling some more stuff in. So this would be, I think, if the light's coming here, I think it would be another gradient, maybe black to silver, I would say. Let's give it a try, I think. So let's go, we'll start there, and then I'm going to pull in my black where the white is now, and I'm going to draw a new gradient path like that, but I'm going to swap it. Okay, and I want that to go down, oop, not that way. I think I'm going to do a bit further, something like that maybe. Okay, maybe. I'm not sold on it, but I'm also, it might work. I'm going to go this. Ooh, but then I think I might actually just do this fully in black, like these other ones with just the outline, and then do like a shine line here. So I think what I'm going to do is just use my pen tool. I'm going to draw some shapes kind of like this with hard edges and just kind of like guesstimating. And then I'm going to use my round corner tool. So if you just like select the path that you had and then click A, your corners little options dialog box will be up here in your little toolbar. And you can kind of go up. Wow, that was too much. I'm going to go 0.01. That's better. And I'm going to swap it to fill. That's kind of cool. And then I think I'm going to fill it with this silver. You know what I mean? And it's just like creating kind of like a bubble fill. Like not too, I want there to be a mixture of gradient and then like other stuff. Yeah, I think maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't, but maybe it does. And maybe I just pull that in here a little bit so it looks like it's a bit more curvy. And I'm going to pull this in a bit. Yeah. I think a little bit like that. Yeah. Snillratch? That's a name. Snillratch. I love that. Okay, but yeah, round corners is my most used Illustrator tool as well. I love it so much. It's such, I use it all the time. So I am curious what I'm going to do here because it's like this doesn't quite meet the edge. I'm leaving room, but these do meet the edge. So I think I need to make that consistent. Otherwise, I think it's going to look really weird. So I think I'm just going to go pull that back up. And I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think that's looking better. Is Astute Graphics worth the investment in your opinion? Someone's asking if Astute Graphics, if I think it's worth the investment. It definitely is an investment. And to be honest, I need to like dig into it and actually take the time to figure out all the tools and all the capabilities and stuff before I would really know. But I would say do their trial. They have like a 30-day trial, I think. It's something really great like that. And see if it's worth it for you, you know? Okay, so I think I need to update this a bit. But yeah, I don't buy a lot of stuff, but this little drop shadow tool alone that they offer is almost worth the whole price of it for me, just because of how many clients want that kind of effect on things and it just takes forever to make. So I use that all the time. And then that, you know, this path scribe thing I use a lot. Dynamic Sketch is really nice. It allows you to just get a lot more precision with your pencil tool, and if you don't like to use the pen tool as much. Yeah, so I think definitely do the trial. See if you like it. And I think I'm going to do this more. Yeah, like more of a flat gradient kind of thing. Okay, cool. Interesting. I'm not sure about some of this. Maybe that would be more of like a full thing. And in fact, I think I'm going to reference some of my, okay, so if the light's coming here, the white shiny things are pretty few and far between. So I think what I'm going to do is, oh, you know what I might do? I might do like some sort of a dot pattern. Well, you know what? No, I think I'm going to just leave that, and I'm going to do the texture in this area in Photoshop. I think I'm just going to leave it, and it's easy to get hung up on little details of things not working, but I really don't want to do that. I want to just like keep going and make as much forward progress as I can. Okay, so this, let's see where we go with this. This path tool thing did not work at all here. But let's just keep trying with it. So let's try to fill this one up here. This would be probably a pretty light area, I think, because it's like on the top. So let's have it match this, I think. And then, yeah, maybe this back corner would be, and maybe this area down here. I don't know how I would fill that. Is it down here? This little area down here, I think needs to be maybe the light gray. So I'm going to try to create a little area for that. I think I'll just use my pen tool for now. See how hard it is to like match it once you already have it? What a nightmare. But I'm just going to make it a fill, I think, behind. My files, I have the best intentions when I start. I'm like, this is going to be so well organized, like printers will ooh and ah. And then here we are. I have no idea what's happening in this file anymore. I mean, I do, but it's just, you know, best laid intentions, best laid plans. Okay. And that's looking pretty good. I wish this would let me continue on. Just going to do there for now. I can always move it. Let's see. There we go. Maybe adjust this a bit. Oh, I never told you what show to watch. Wow, you guys got me lost. But it's called Brassic. Did I say it's called Brassic? Okay, it's on Hulu. Just do it. You need something to watch. You're out of Great British Bake Off shows already. You already ran through those. Trust me, it's so good. It's got the guy who plays the vampire in Preacher, if anybody watches that. And it's just, if you like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or anything like that, I think you will like it. I think it will be delightful for you. Okay, so I think I'm going to just move this up here out of my way. I'm going to unlock everything so that when I grab it, it just grabs what I need. And I'm also going to put my background on its own layer so I can just lock that instead of continually locking and unlocking that as a shape. So I'm going to drag that down, lock that layer. So that's at least one headache out of the way. And then I'm going to grab all of these. Okay. And that's looking good. I'm actually really happy with where that's at. Okay, so I'm going to pull that up here. And one thing I definitely want to have, I can use my guides again to figure out where, there it is. One thing I definitely want to have is some like super shiny lines. So I want to do like some of these little like super shine things. And maybe this one's a bit too starbursty. Like maybe it just needs 3 on either side. These are actually really hard to draw freehand. Try it. It's a good test of your skills. Because you kind of have to make like a perfect circle radius with your points. If that makes any sense? Like this and here, these should all be kind of like a circle if it's going to look good. But I never like them to be as perfect as they are when you just do like the star shape. Again, I think I'm a bit of a masochist. I like to do things the hard way. I grew up in Kentucky, okay? Everything was the hard way. We were joking, me and my sister, the other day because my mom used to let our friends sleep over all the time, which was awesome. But she had ulterior motives because as soon as we woke up in the morning, she would make us clean out the horse stalls. And my friends would be horrified, absolutely horrified that they had to do this thing that they never agreed to. And it was pretty funny how quickly they made excuses. I think I need to call my mom. Yeah, I can't be here right now. But yeah. So cool. I like that. I like that it kind of looks kind of wonky too. Like I like maybe we even pull these in a bit more to be a little bit like crazier, or I don't know. What do you think? Do you like it full or do you like it kind of crazy? And I'm always kind of torn. It's like, should it follow this little area or should it be more obvious that it's, you know, like maybe it should be more obvious that these all are individual shapes, if that makes any sense. Let's see. We can always kind of come back to that. But I think right now that's kind of cool. Maybe more, maybe it does look better up there. And then maybe we do one down here. And actually I think I will just, I'm just copy pasting, option dragging one. And I think I'm going to just rotate it so it looks a little different. And then I'll just kind of go in and adjust these by hand to just make it look a little bit different than the original. Maybe do this one over here. This one can go really high. Cool. Look how shiny.
There's a lot of recorded TV shows. Have you seen Holy Moly?
Okay, somebody's asking about Holy Moly. Is that the show like Wipeout where people just make fools of themselves? That kind of stuff stresses me out. I can't tell you how much that kind of stuff stresses me out. Like Wipeout, it's just like that, and watching The Bachelor, the mortification that I feel is so intense. I can't, it's like Pen 15. If anybody's seen that, it hits so close to home. If you were a girl in middle school, it's so accurate. It's just not even funny. But they're all hilarious. But I think I already have so much anxiety in my everyday work life that I'm like, you know what? I need Great British Baking Show. Turn your brain off. Have some delight. Have some nice moments. I love Great British Baking Show too because they like root each other on. They actually help each other. No one's trying to sabotage each other like American, any kind of competition show in America. People are cutthroat. It's horrifying. In England, they're like, they'll put their own bake aside to help you finish your bake. Like it's delightful. So yeah, that's my feelings on that. Okay, back to design. Back to what we've got here. I mean, chat, I hate to toot my own horn, but I think this is looking pretty good. I know I just learned the shape tool like 20 minutes ago and I wasted a lot of our time on this, but time well spent, if you ask me. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do similar to what I did before, add some little rounded shadows and stuff. I'm going to just eyedropper this one over here, maybe do like that. And maybe it's actually much shorter. I think I'm just going to delete that right there. Yeah, like that. And then I think this would be a shine here potentially. So I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to eyedropper this one over here. My eyedropper is probably my second most used tool. Okay. Also, Kathleen is in the chat. Kathleen Illustrated. She runs Adobe Live's streaming. And she is, if you want to know anything about any Adobe program, she is the sensei. She knows all. Ask her. You should definitely check in on her live streams that she does with Adobe Live. She does them all the time. She's the queen. She's the absolute queen. Also, she does these things on her Instagram story where she like will make a meal at like a hobo stew meal where you like pick like 4 things that you have in your cabinet and you just make something out of it. I very much admire that. I think that's great. I think I'm going to use I'm actually just going to fill this and then use my rounded corner thing. I think just because I want it to be like a more perfect fill. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. And then actually, I just need these 2 corners rounded. So I'm just going to direct select those and do like that, I think. Yeah, I think. Maybe. I hate it a little, but I also think it's okay. So I think I'm just going to keep going. Oh, okay. So the show, what's it called again? Holy Moly, and it's extreme. Oh, right. That's the one with that guy. Oh my gosh, that guy's hilarious. He's just so American, isn't he? He's like, that guy's so funny. Isn't he in a lot of like Happy Gilmore movies too? I don't know, but that guy's so funny. I can't get into golfing. I love sports, but when it comes to golfing, it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm not watching the right person, the right event, whatever. I've always wanted to like do golfing myself and just like drive around in the golf cart, and I'm going to just deselect this corner so that it gets a nice fill. But I've always wanted to like hit the links, have a beer, you know, that kind of thing. I think I'm actually going to delete those 2. Maybe I'm kind of reconsidering everything about how I'm doing this, but in real time. But let's just say that we like it. think I'm going to do this as a gray fill. Get rid of that stroke for now. I think that might be like that. Actually, there probably wouldn't be anything there. So I think I might just rotate this and reuse it here. I'm just going to rotate it and then go Object, Transform, Reflect. I'm sure there's a shortcut for this. There should be, right? Just so I can reuse that piece and I don't have to remake it. So maybe that would go more like there, I think. Yeah, maybe so. And then I can just round these. It's funny that Adam Sandler is considered like a bro comedian because the man is actually, he's up there with Nora Ephron on rom-com success. Every one of his movies is a secret rom-com if you think about it. Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, all the other ones. 50 First Dates. Oh, Andrew Hockrattle. He's in the chat, y'all. The other Adobe Live king is here. Also, Drew, yes, Lakers in 5. I was asking someone the other day, I've been watching the series. I missed a couple games, but luckily they were all the ones we missed. But I was talking to my friend the other day, and he goes, I think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep, which is Lakers in 5. Is that the funniest thing you've ever heard? I love that term, gentleman's sweep, meaning you give them one. You gotta be a good sport, as they say. That's like in soccer. When I used to play soccer, they'd always encourage us as kids, like, okay, if you're up by 5, like, you don't need to like score another goal. Just play defense. If it's like a couple minutes left. Okay, so I'm gonna eyedropper. I think I'll eyedropper this gray one, I think, because I also want to do like, or maybe I will do this again and I'll fill this. We're making decisions on the fly. And then maybe this will be the gray fill with like a white over here, maybe like a white highlight. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. And I think I just don't know what to do about these strokes. I really don't. It's like I can either go, they could have some space around them. Is that cool? Does that add like even more dimension if we go down on these? Or is it nice that they meet the edges? And if so, then I'm rethinking everything. Let's go down on these 2. I think I went down to 5. Like, what do you all think? Or maybe I went down to 4. I think they look better as a fill? I don't know. Oh my gosh, Rosie Qualls. She said we had to dribble with our non-dominant foot in soccer when she was younger if they were up by too much. That's so funny. See, Rosie's from Texas and I'm from Kentucky. And yes, they do believe in like being a good sport and not beating the other person by too much. That's so funny. Katie Cooper, what's up? How's Memphis? Hope you're well. Okay, sorry. I'm just kind of yelling things at the chat right now. So, okay, but chat, I need your help. What do you think? Do we like these like strokes like this? Do we like them with a little bit of room around them? Or did we like them a little bit thicker to where they met the edge? I would love your opinion because I'm feeling stuck. This is probably the moment that I would text a friend, call a friend, like in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Does anyone watch that show anymore? Anyway, they used to have this thing called Call a Friend. I never watched that show, but it was a reference that they used on stuff like SNL and stuff. But I would usually like call Josh Ariza or Kara Sykes. And I would say, please help. Please give me your wisdom on this. What looks better? So let's say maybe there was a highlight there. Let's say maybe there was a highlight here. Yeah, like if the sun's coming down. Yeah, and then there would be like also a highlight here, I think. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then this one would be like a little bit of a low light. So we'll do that one in gray. Yeah, I think that's looking good. But yeah. Okay, Andrew Hockrattle says yes, with room. In theory, if those are beveled, they would only show in the center. Okay. Oh, but Ricky says she likes touching the edges. Okay. Almost everyone is saying touching the edges. Ooh, Urinel is saying use both. Kyle Van Cleve, what's up? He says thick fill is rad. Ooh, Okay, so Taylor S wants to know, what is this a project for? Is it for a logo? How big is it going to be? It's actually going to be really big. It's not for a logo. It's just a personal project. I'm going to do this as a poster, I think. We're trying to like finalize all of our products for the holidays. And so I want to get these printed, get these off to my printer sometime soon. And so I was like, oh, I've been thinking that this is something that I really would love to hang over my wall. And that's kind of how I decide like what would be something good to do. I think, what would I like to hang? Okay, yeah, that looks good. And I think this would be a low light as well. Yeah, more of a low light. Okay, so I think I'm just going to stop there for now. I think that actually looks pretty dang good. I'm so glad we just kept going. That's like a really good motto, isn't it? Now, I do need to fill in, see how this is filled, but nothing else is filled? I do need to kind of consider where some of these other fills could go. But right now, I think I'm just going to keep moving. I think this would be probably a fill, and then maybe we would do something over here. But for now, I think I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to start working on a little bit of this me text. I'm going to lock that. Oh, I'm actually going to move this also down to my base layer where all of my background paper color is. And I'll just Command Shift left bracket to move it to the back, and I'm going to lock it. And I think I'm going to go ahead and start trying to work on this me text. Okay, so for the me text, I want it to be, I'm going to get back on my layer. I want it to look like it's coming out of the ground like Schoolhouse Rock style, remember? And then I also want it to be broken in half. So there's like two things going on here. So actually I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw this one the way I like it first, and then Option drag and reflect so that it's perfectly mirrored. So if this is coming out into space, it would obviously get wider as it goes towards me, the viewer. So I'm going to go like that, and then I'm going to bring that down so it's perfect there. And I'm just going to Option drag this, and my smart guides tell me that now they're meeting. So now I can select this, go to Object, Transform, Reflect, and I'm going to reflect that vertical, and now I have a perfect M there. Okay, so now I'm just going to Pathfinder those together. And actually, this might be a little bit too far out because I still want the me. This would be kind of more in the middle, if you know what I mean. So I still want the me to be there. So maybe that's like more like that. Okay, so this goes here. We're going to follow this path. And again, I don't think it's really as important for it to be perfect. I actually think it's sometimes more interesting when it's not perfect. I actually have a hard time with like getting too obsessed with like finishing details, and sometimes that can like take all of the heart and soul out of something, you know? So I'm actually, that's why I kind of love doing these live streams, or even just like giving yourself a time limit on personal projects, because it really helps you to just like get a quick fun idea out and not obsess too much about little stupid things, not get hung up on the details. Okay, so for this, I want there to be a outline on it. Oh, right. I'm going to pull this over so that I can see what it looks like on black. Okay, good so far. And if I've got my rulers turned on, so I'm just going to draw myself a ruler for the center of my page. I'm working on an 8.5 by 11 board right now, so it would be 4.25. If this is 5, that's 4.25. Okay, I'll turn those guides on. And I'll group these together. The M looks a little off. I think I might just select these 3 anchor points and then do that a bit. I think maybe these go to the left a bit. Yeah, that looks better, I think. Okay, so I've got this. This is going to be so fun. Oh my gosh, I'm pretty excited about this text as well. So I'm going to go, I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy in front, and I'm going to lock it by going Command 2. Then I'm going to drag this all the way down so that I kind of have a guide for basically where I want my blocks to go. This one's going to be way easier because, oh, you know what? I need an outline on this, I think. So I'm going to go Object, Unlock All. And does it have an outline? Oh, it does. Okay. And now that I have this unlocked, it'll be easier for me to see my anchor guides. So I'm just going to go like this, and I'm just going to use my smart guides and my anchor points to draw these little edges, and I'll fill them in just kind of how I think that they go for now. And I think there would be a shadow here in front. This is going to be fun trying to figure out the lighting when they're kind of going different directions, but I think it'll be cool. Okay, like that. And then this would go here. I'm going to fill this with black, but I want that white outline to show, because I think that's a neat look. And yeah, like that. And then I think I didn't fill that in all the way. Cool. So now we'll do the same here. Trevor Gerard, what's up? Trevor's in the chat. You want to talk about an amazing designer. He used to design for Brixton. He does his own thing now. He designed t-shirts for Stranger Things. And I don't mean like merch. I mean like he did authentic 70s designs that the actual characters wore in the show. That's how talented this guy is. It's crazy. So definitely give him a check. He does beholder badges. That's what he goes by. He makes awesome pins and socks and things like that. Definitely worth a look at. Okay, so for here, I think what I'm going to do is, I don't really like the way the gray looks in a gradient format to black, and I don't know why. I might change that gray to be a little bit darker, but let's go ahead and pull this in, and let's change our angle to 90%. Oh, interesting. I thought I would do it the other way, but that looks kind of good. I kind of like it with the dark at the top. Like, is that better than this? And the reason I want to do a tight gradient is because I want to add some, like I said, some texture after the fact. Oh, that's cool. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is really freaking cool. Okay. I'm really liking this. Also, Trevor Gerard is now famous in the chat. It's incredible. Okay, so let's keep going with this E. This is way easier than that Chrome text. Thank goodness. Everyone saw me for the fraud that I am on that Chrome text. Everyone's like, can you just use Shape Builder tool? I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Okay, so let's move this. I'm going to move this E all the way to the back and then one in front. Yeah, that looks cool. Okay, that's looking really cool. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these two objects. I'm going to change the transparency so I can see beneath it, because I need to see where my guides are for my bottom E. So I'm going to use my pen tool again, and I'm just going to keep connecting this dot with this dot from E to E. Go here, edge to edge, make a little box, and continue on from there. So this would be this little corner. And I don't need all of them. I just need the ones that are going to show. In fact, that one won't even show. This one will. So I'm just going to do this little box. And I think that's the only one I need. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now I can set these back to the correct opacity and set that one. We're going to go back to 100%. And we're just going to I'm going to move them all to the back with Command Shift left bracket. And then I'm just going to move the ones that I need to the front forward with just the Shift bracket. Okay, so this one will go all the way to the front. Yeah, okay. And these would be, gosh, would these be black? Maybe this one would be black. To be honest, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think that's right. Let's do that for now. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, oh my goodness, this is so cool. Okay, I'm like really happy with how this is turning out. Okay, cool. So let's make sure that these all match these gradients. I'm going to just select them all, and I'm going to use my gradient tool to redraw them so that they're all the same. Oh, Command Save. We're going to save this stuff. Now the hard part, now that we have this, is going to be doing this little crack thing that I want to do. So let's just go, and I'm just going to use my pencil tool, which is just shortcut N, and I'm just going to start kind of drawing like a crack, and let's see how that looks. Okay, what is it with the pencil tool? It's kind of a piece of trash. You might as well just use, I find that if you start with a pencil tool that kind of is sucky, you can just kind of redraw over it, and that can be like a good enough fix. But usually it's better to just use the pen tool, I found. Okay, let's do that. Actually, let's do this a little bit more jagged. Still not quite capturing what I want. There we go. And maybe that's a little bit too much. There's that. And then this needs to kind of do something else more interesting. Okay, cool. That looks kind of cool. Okay, now I think this E-break does need to go up a bit because I want it to look like the me is getting crossed out. Like, I want it to make sure it looks negative. I don't want it to feel like me and we. That would be confusing. I want the message to be very clear. Togetherness is all I'm after. I always try to sing that song during karaoke. I really love to try to sing anything Mariah Carey. It's really quite a tall order, but some days, man, some days I get it. And B can attest. She's been to our family karaoke nights. Okay, we have a question.
There's two comments. The first one is from Chad DY. My 7-year-old daughter keeps coming into my office every couple of hours and yells, "Come in, save!"
Okay, someone's daughter is really worried about me not command saving enough, and they are so right to be worried. But luckily now, Adobe has like autosave like it used to in InDesign for Illustrator, which is so cool. I'm so happy about that. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do is, oh man, I wish I knew how to use that shape tool that you all were talking about, because I bet it would be really handy here. You all were saying that it's like it all has to touch or something, but I just don't really want to make a fool of myself on a live stream right now trying to figure this out. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? So I think I'm just going to do it the way that I think I would do it. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group everything that I have. I'm going to group it. I'm going to copy one of them so that I have something to go back to in case I screw it up. And I'm going to just paste over here to start. That's my first order of business. And actually, oh man, we've been doing this for an hour and a half. I'm thinking I might save this for either a weekend stream and just call it a day. I do actually have to do some client work. Or I might just finish it on my own. But basically I'm really stoked on what we came out with today. Like I think we've gotten to a really nice place. I'll save this as a JPEG, I think. Here's our Chrome text that we came up with. And here is our beginnings of our Schoolhouse Rock cracked text that we're doing. So I think I'm going to stop here. We've been doing this for about an hour and a half, maybe about an hour and 15 since I was a little bit late to our stream. But maybe next week or this weekend, I'll stream again and I'll try to figure out how to finish this. I promise to learn how to use the shape tool before we next meet, because that sounds actually really handy and like it would save me a lot of time. And then I'm going to try to get these finished in time for the holidays. We've been releasing a lot of like fun new stuff. Actually, one of the biggest things we've been working on is our video course, which you might have seen if you follow us on Instagram or Twitter or anything. But we basically turned our book, Freelance and Business and Stuff, into a full-blown course. And it's kind of based on the course that we used to teach at Laguna College of Art and Design, which is like an amazing design school out here. It's like the one that I dreamed about going to when I was in high school, but I just couldn't afford. And then I got to teach there, which is kind of a cool thing. But it's the professional practices class we taught there, which is basically just how to be a good person to work with, and also how to, save yourself time through systems and procedures, organization tips, and then the meatier stuff, obviously, of contracts, pricing, project workflow, putting together packages, negotiating price, all these things that we get asked a lot about that are in the book, which is kind of like you could consider the book the textbook, and this as like the live course, the live class. If you were like wondering what's the difference between the book and the class. And so we released it. It's on our website. If you go to courses.hoodzpahdesign.com, there's also, I believe I put a link into the notes of this stream, maybe, if I was smart enough. But yeah, check it out. There's a couple free preview lessons. There's one on passive income. And it's been so nice to finally have that up and running. And just, we have a Fabus Slack channel too, where everybody can kind of like, talk about specific pricing questions and things like that. So it's a really awesome thing. If you're looking for, how to freelance or how to take your freelancing up a level, if you're kind of new to it, I would definitely recommend the course. And you can read the testimonials on that page. So check that out. Also, we're doing this really fun mug that's going to say Helvetica in the streets, Cooper Black in the sheets. And I'm pretty excited about that. So stay tuned for that as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. If you want to subscribe to our channel, we'll be doing more of this, and hopefully I won't be as late next time. And we'll also be posting things like just little tips and tricks that we use every day that are just kind of fun behind the scenes. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the other side.